Where have I gone? Okay. So instead of now being in a position where we can't see complexity because of our age, because of our background, because of our habitual sense of historical memory dividing the world into black and white, the way I talked about before, we have people who are predisposed to not looking at the world that way, for whom slavery can, in the sense that we have it in the world today, as encompassing people of all skin colors, all over the world, much more consistent and congruent with the lived experience of the world that they live in day to day. You understand what I'm trying to say? They just don't see it the way that we do. So how then do we begin to make this happen? I'm going to try and just forget about my text and see if I can finish on time and make you believe that there's a conclusion to this, which there isn't. The opportunity to hear the stories of people from other places who've experienced the world of oppression and slavery differently is so much greater now than we think it is because of these demographic shifts and population movements. That it isn't really hard at all to begin to capture it. In the talk I gave in North Dakota, a woman from Kazakhstan showed up. Never met anybody from Kazakhstan before. She started talking about human trafficking in the Transcaucasus. And she started talking about how that affected people who had graduated from elementary school with her before she made her escape 15 years ago. And suddenly everybody is listening to Frederick Douglass. Not Frederick Douglass in the sense that we understand Frederick Douglass, but Frederick Douglass in the sense of having a witness in front of you that tells you how it works. Program that. Start thinking about what people can encounter in their study abroad experience. Do you understand how many of American college students go abroad for their education? How many consider it the absolute apogee, the absolute high point of their experience as undergraduates is to be able to go to some place and study something? How many of their faculty end up going to foreign institutions to work and study? How international are our campuses really? How much could we put the problem of human trafficking into curriculum? And the cool thing about it is nobody will object. It's not taking a political position that anybody would want to question. When abolitionists tried this kind of stuff back in the old days, there were always people who stood up and said, no, learning is sort of neutral. We don't want to get involved in this whole question of advocacy. And that's been the case in a lot of the contention that's gone on college campuses about taking political positions and involving individuals and faculties and courses and curriculum with advocacy work. With slavery, it's no problem, because it's illegal and we have no enemies. So I'm suggesting that there are a variety of ways that I could go on and elaborate greatly, where, on the one hand, you could begin to develop the human material that would be networking with itself on podcasts, developing networks of communication to support and create the groundswell that currently does not exist today underneath all the organizations that are already working. We have organizations to beat the band that are already working, but we don't have an abolitionist movement to support them. I think we can begin to do exactly that kind of work. There's much more that needs to be done.